Hey, Ron here, and today I want to talk about... I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest, just for a minute. So, I don't think that I hope it doesn't ruffle any feathers when I say that Obama was not a progressive. When you look at his record, when you look at the things that he did during his presidency, they don't... the things that he did were progressive. Well, like the gay marriage thing, that wasn't... One, that wasn't him, and that was the Supreme Court, and two, that was a concession to popular demand. It wasn't something that he did of his own volition. If you look at Obama's record, in fact, I'm to understand that you would find he was more conservative than Pappy Bush. And yet, there are people who remember him as being a progressive candidate. How did that happen? Well, I mean, that's a rhetorical question. I'm going to tell you how it happened. He recuperated the whole Democratic Party, but Obama especially recuperated the idea and the aesthetics of progressivism in order to, I want to say trick people into thinking they were going to do progressive things. This is something that happens. This is something that's vital to the continued existence of neoliberalism, neoliberal recuperation. And this is something that happens with anything that neoliberalism, the ideology and the people who support it can find to be beneficial to them, as opposed to things that are detrimental. So, my notes on this video had it down that this is going to be about conflict and aggression, but I think a better title for this would be Softboys and Recuperation. Yeah. So, a colleague of mine, a YouTube and Twitter person who calls herself Angie Speaks, said this. I understood what she was saying, right? I didn't say that it was about recuperation because that light bulb hadn't quite gone off at the time, but I understood what she was trying to say. Maybe I just have better reading comprehension than other people? I don't know. But that's what she was talking about here. She was talking about people using the soft boy aesthetic to recuperate. No. She was talking about people recuperating the soft boy aesthetic in order to forward neoliberal goals. It isn't a bad thing to be soft. It isn't a bad thing to be gentle or caring. I would even go so far as to say that there are good people who deliberately use this aesthetic. American Johnson comes to mind. Fucking Soft Boy Social Club comes to mind. Thought Slime comes to mind. Sans the couple of times he's talked about beating up Nazis with bats. But being soft and being gentle and being non-confrontational is not a bad thing. And suggesting that it's a bad thing is not what Angie was doing. As I said, she's talking about recuperation. People who use that aesthetic of non-confrontationalism. People who use that aesthetic of being nice and friendly and inclusive to forward neoliberal goals, to be exclusionary, to be oppressive, to gatekeep people who they feel are too aggressive, is the main thing she was talking about, mostly. Because the thing is, it's okay to be angry. I personally think that the only way to morally live in this world is to be fucking angry all the time. And I don't know, maybe my view on that is slanted. I'm a very confrontational person in real life. I'm so confrontational that I went up to my senator and yelled at him for the better part of an hour and a half.
Okay? And the people who were shooting in El Paso, the guy who gunned down people in El Paso, he wasn't quoting anyone on the left. He was quoting the president. Shut up. You shut up.
Yeah. That's me. But I work very hard. I work very, very hard to direct that aggression either towards systems that are abusing people, or towards people who are enabling those systems that are abusing people. But all of that is a red herring, because that's not what it's about. I don't think no rational person is going to say that it's a bad idea to yell at people who are spreading great replacement propaganda. No rational person is going to say that you should not rebuke someone when they are spreading lies. But some people will say, that maybe we should be nice to these people. And even that isn't by itself a bad thing. Even I have said in the past, and will continue to say in the future, that we need to make the world a better place for the fascists too. Of course, when I'm saying that if we make the world better for fascists, then they'll stop being fascists. But, again, that's another tangent. People are using this aesthetic of being kind and gentle to exclude people who want systemic change. People who are angry about their circumstances and want to change those circumstances from being a part of meaningful conversations, from being a part of a systemic change. Like, this isn't just limited to the Softboy thing. You can see this in, like, you know how people are really mad about Bernie Sanders supporters being needlessly aggressive? It's the same basic concept. If you can understand that the narrative about Sanders supporters is not quite true, even though there are people who are really aggressive Sanders supporters, then you can understand that that there are really bad people who use this soft boy label. It's the same basic premise, but kind of reversed. And it's helpful to be aware. It's useful to be aware. I would go so far as to say that it is vital to be aware of when an aesthetic, of when an idea has been recuperated, or is in the process of being recuperated. Because then we can change the idea, so that we know who's who. Who's using the thing genuinely, and who's just being a prick about it. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Took me 8 tries, this did. Regular links are in the description of the video. That's my Twitter, if you want to see what kind of goofing off I'm doing over there. That's my Curious Cat, if you want to send me anonymous questions. That's my email, if you want to send me information about leftist projects that you quite inexplicably think that my participation would be beneficial towards. And my Ko-Fi, if you think that this rambling, meandering tirade was worth supporting financially. I want to stress, I do not want anyone to feel obligated to financially support this thing that I'm doing. This is important to me, and I'm going to keep doing it, regardless of whether or not I receive financial support. I lugged my whole ass computer 60 miles downstate so that I could keep doing this. This is important to me. But any financial support that you'd be willing to provide would be very, very useful. So what's the next topic? A video about how the expectation of pacifism from people trying to change the system only helps bad actors. I remember that. I've been wanting to do that one for a while. I'm excited. So yeah, until we get there, take care of yourselves, alright?